Oh, the next video, if you are subject to seizures, I would not look at this. So that was a video of a test pod ride that we did in the Hyperloop tunnel. So we have like a roughly 0.8 mile vacuum tube at just by SpaceX. It's about 5 or 6 feet in diameter, and we've been able to go a couple hundred miles an hour, and we think probably. We're aiming for around to go over 300 miles an hour, but accelerate all the way 300 miles an hour and brake, and that's in a vacuum tunnel. So it's really just sort of refining the technology necessary for ultra high speed transport from city to city, and yeah, it's kind of fun. We can go faster than a jet. Like you don't really have. Sort of Mach problems, you're not creating like massive sonic booms because you evacuated the air.
There's no upper limit based on physics. It's just how straight is the tunnel to make the ride comfortable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's essentially constrained by the G loading that would be comfortable for a person in the tunnel.
And one of the wonderful events that Elon puts on at SpaceX and the Boring Company is a Hyperloop competition, which we do every year. And the first year, actually, this is true, over 1,000 universities worldwide entered, which was amazing. And then we narrowed it down to 20, and then 20 came and actually competed at SpaceX. Fastest pod wins. And last year, a team won at 202 miles an hour. That's a student team building a pod in 9 months. So it shows the tech is very doable.
Yeah. Like so, and this is all running in a vacuum tube.
Yep.
So, while Steve, the credit, by the way, for the Hyperloop competition really, Steve deserves the credit. Steve really is the guy who made that competition happen and who runs it. So, thank you for doing that.
Thanks for letting us do it.
All right. All right, so what we're aiming for with this tunnel is a north-south tunnel parallel to the 405, and it's really intended to learn more about what it takes to build a tunnel on the sort of north-south geology of Los Angeles. Los Angeles is like New York is for like plays. If you can build a tunnel in If you can succeed in building tunnels here, man, because we've got seismic, we've got the water table, you've got like very complicated
utilities everywhere.
Yeah, utilities everywhere. So it's a very complex thing, and we have an east-west tunnel that's almost completed in Hawthorne that's parallel to the 105. So we have an east-west kind of research or test tunnel, and we think it would be good to have a north-south one as well. So we're going to have a good cross-section of the geology in LA. And then besides building the tunnel itself, we want to sort of see what the user experience is going to be like and what the public would prefer the tunnel operation to be like. So if you, what feels good, get public feedback by having people use the tunnel. We wouldn't be charging on what people would like or not like. Yeah, so the people may be wondering, like, well, how is this going to affect me? And the important thing is that there'll be no street closures. We're not tunneling beneath any homes or businesses. If anyone can detect that we're digging a tunnel, we'd be glad to hire them because they have some very impressive detection equipment. Literally, walking on the surface creates more vibration than the tunnel boring machine. It's really quite difficult to detect when a tunnel is being dug.
Yeah, and it's important. Like with this test tunnel, the community, and it's our goal. And if we ever don't, please let us know that nobody knows we're there, because it's really important that if we want to build very long tunnels from LA to San Fran, it's important to be an amazing neighbor, and that you don't disturb anyone. So this is, in our mind. You won't hear us, you won't see us, you won't feel us, you won't even know we even exist. The only way you'll know we exist is the fact that there are trucks on the road, and that was what the haul route hearing had been. And then so that's the haul route we were given. For those who are curious, the direction, it's south on Sepulveda, east on National onto the I-10 East, and then our trucks were limited, especially during rush hour, and we're not allowed to truck before 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. The concept being, we are going to do everything right. We're going to be the best possible community member, and if anyone has suggestions, please let us know. But the goal is that literally, we're invisible, and it's really, really important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's obviously, in fact, this is really important because it's not going to scale if the creation of the tunnel, if we had to, say, a 2-mile tunnel without disturbing people, then how could we do hundreds of miles of tunnels without disturbing people? So this really needs to be something that people just don't even know it's there unless they look for it. And even then it's tricky. So, and then like I said, once we're done, we want to, in order to get public feedback, we want to sort of offer free rides, and it'd be like, sort of like a weird little Disney ride in the middle of LA. But I think we can make it really fun.
Yeah.
Bring your flamethrower. Yeah.
Yeah, he's got a good point. It's not a flamethrower.
Oh, it's all right. Keep making that mistake. All right, so we're working closely with the city of LA and with Metro to make this happen. So, sometimes people wonder, like, hey, are they just going and building this crazy tunnel and nobody is even looking at it, and they're seeking like exemption from all oversight? This is not the case. There are a zillion permits that need to be approved for this tunnel. So there's a huge number of city permits, county permits, state permits. The nature of the exemption that we are seeking is simply from CEQA, because getting a CEQA approval can take sometimes a year or sometimes 2 years. And we need to figure out what the large network will be, and use this sort of kind of research tunnel to figure that out, and then apply for the larger environmental or submit the larger environmental impact report to the state of California, which has the most stringent environmental rules in the country, maybe the world, but certainly, yeah, like probably the world.
Yeah.
And the nature of CEQA is that it's very much a permission-based system that takes a long time. This would be a very safe tunnel, and would still fall within all of the permitting requirements that LA would normally require, which is I think something like 600 pages of permits that are required for this tunnel. So it's not like, here, fill in this form.
Yeah.
This is like 600 pages, at least, maybe more.
Our CEQA study alone actually was 1,500 pages.
1,500,
Yeah.
wow.
Yeah, and actually,
So we have done the CEQA study.
yeah, so the way, just for everyone
bear in
who knows,
mind.
for CEQA to work is you don't just, it's not like we said, oh, we want an exemption. No, what you do an initial study, and an initial study determines your next steps. And so, I mean, like we were talking about, literally there's no environmental impact. And so we did this 1,500-page study, submitted the study, and then the city of LA determined that an exemption was appropriate. But the main thing is, it's not being done to be controversial. It was the result of the study, and we're always going to do the right thing. We're always going to do, and so we'll keep working with the city and kind of go with that. But yeah, there are an enormous amount of permits, and then for a larger system, I mean, to be frank, we don't right now know what that system would be, because we need such an enormous amount of community feedback, and to know, because Elon's always very clear with me and the team, we must do the most useful, helpful thing possible. And I don't think we yet know what that correct alignment is yet, and we can't wait to get feedback on what it is. And then, yeah, then we go through a full EIR and go for it. But right now, you know, the goal is really that test tunnel. And then with the metro has been wonderful, and our goal is to complement the metro as much as possible. One thing we do talk about is, you know, and this is just us, is that, you know, the Purple Line's amazing, the Expo Line's amazing. It would be neat to connect them. 2-minute trip, which would be really, really interesting. And so just thanks to the metro for their support.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, we want to feel like we just reinforce what Steve is saying. We want to connect with and supplement existing transport systems. So if we do things like help connect 2 subway lines in LA, that'd be great. Obviously having a sort of like many stations come out at subway stations, at bus stops, at you know, LAX and Dodger Stadium and various other places, that's going to make a lot of sense. We're trying to maximize the usefulness of this system while having it not be not affect people's lives as it gets created.